Hello, welcome to another Tuesday night live stream, or as I'm calling this, the Nerd Show. I actually didn't have any idea for what to call the stream, and Haley mentioned calling it the Nerd Show or the Nerd Cave or Nerd something. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with that one just because I was curious to see what would happen. Uh, I know it's Tuesday night, and based on my phone, there are a million streams happening right now. So if you are here, I truly do appreciate it because there are a lot of streams going on right now. A couple of good ones, a couple not so good ones, but yeah, you have options. So if you're here, I truly do appreciate it. I'm sure most of you, like me, just kind of watched Jeremy. So hopefully you all enjoyed that stream. I was kind of tuning in and out briefly here and there, trying to get ready for stuff. I got home kind of late tonight, so not quite sure what he covered entirely, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you all are here. I mean, you're all here, obviously, but hopefully you're going to stay here. Grish is first, as usual. Eric is here. Nils, welcome in. New show, new colors. Well, I am. So I am trying some things. Haley is doing some stuff for her business and sharing some of the things that she's learning. So we've been talking a lot about where she's going with her business, kind of where I would like to go. So I'm going to be, I guess, trying to branch out a little bit on this YouTube stuff. Definitely need to put together some real tutorials that are not live streams, and come up with maybe some different things. I don't know. I'm trying things. We'll be trying things for a while, I guess, and curious to see what sticks. So, but, as Joe points out, like the new thumbnail, it's actually not new. It goes back like 2 years ago. So you all forgot. I switched to Canva for my thumbnails like years ago, and then kind of gave it up and was just doing a template that Ashley made me, Joe's wife, in case you didn't know. And so while I like it, and it's definitely cool to have a template and cool to have a design, I was just kind of going with the idea of making more original thumbnails. I know YouTube likes that. I know YouTube likes streams now. So like I said, we're playing with things to see what happens. That's what this channel is all about, is, our live demos that usually crash and burn. One of the things I am going to try to do is do less of those. I know Joe, for one, loves the crash and burn demos, but I don't know that YouTube does. So I'm going to be trying to maybe do a little bit more refined demos, maybe ones that I've actually done before. So we shall see. Alonzo is here. Welcome in. David is here. Jeremy is here. Terrell is here. I'll leave that comment alone. I'll leave that comment alone. Richard is here. Welcome in, Richard. You have mentioned that before, and I think in years past that was more important. I've heard that streaming is now treated fairly. However, obviously the views are going to go to the VOD. I mean, that's still going to be the thing, but I've heard it's going to promote streaming more than it used to, and not penalize you, I guess, for going live. Thank you for clicking the like or the like button. DJ Shades is here. Welcome in. That's a cool logo. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Thank you for coming over. So as the thumbnail says, this is Dev Random Live. If you're a Linux user, you get that reference. If you're not, basically, I didn't really have a plan. I basically was going to do a live show, talk about whatever topics come to mind. I do want to point out, in case you missed my impromptu stream from Sunday, right? Sunday? Yeah. This show is streaming to you live via FFMPEG and not my usual U-Ray decoder box that Joe loves to hate, as do others. So I am curious to see what you think of the quality. Do you notice anything different? Is it better? Is it worse? Please let me know. If you didn't watch the show on Sunday, please go back and watch it. I could definitely use the watch hours. I am really wanting to get to the membership level. The 3,000 watch hours so I can offer memberships. There are things that I would love to do and discuss, more openly, but that would be members only things. So please help me get to the membership level so I can offer membership levels. I'm not going to charge a lot. I just want to charge enough that it's worth it. And I'll be much more, open and transparent in those streams than what I do in these streams. So I know for a fact that my boss is a subscriber. And so therefore I want to keep it generic and clean here. And I don't want to, get the details too much. And so in a member stream, I would probably be more willing to at least open up about things and show some more stuff. But anyway, did the constant bitrate thing get fixed? Yes. So I did some tweaking around after the stream, and I did set a max rate, a min rate, and then a buffer size. And then I think the key, at least from what I was gathering from my testing, was to set CRF, which I believe is the constant rate factor. 0 would be like no deviation. 30 would be like as much deviation as possible. I set it to 10, and that seems to be doing the trick. I can't really show you that because, as some of you pointed out to me on Sunday, my stream key was in the stream, so I've since changed the stream key. For those of you who noticed that stream key has been deleted and no longer exists. So, but yes, I am doing a max rate of 6,000 and a minimum rate of 2,500, and then a CRF of 10. That definitely seems to leveled out the bitrate fluctuation issues. And looking at the YouTube Studio, there is no bitrate errors, so it's happy. Hopefully you're seeing it, everything looking good. And so there are 9 of you here. There are 8 likes. That is a great ratio. So I appreciate that. Quality-wise, the encoder is doing a bang-up job. Well, that's good to know. Quality-wise, it's been the best it's ever been for 720p. Yeah, that's good to know. I do believe... I do believe I could, with this new setup, I do believe I could actually try for 1080, because the PC that was causing me to have issues playing back, well, anything, frankly, is gone. So that is interesting. I guess maybe I could try to do that. But frankly, it doesn't really, as we've talked about before in this channel, most of you watch on a cell phone. The YouTube Studio proves that out because it tells me how many people watch on TV, and it's like 13%. So, but yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, that's basically kind of what I'm thinking is I'd be willing to express a couple more things and get a little more details on a membership only stream. So, well, there is no 4K anything in this house. Not a single TV in this house supports 4K. no camera. I mean, I guess this camera supports 4K, but that's about it. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's nothing that supports 4K in this house. Like I said, I could probably do 1080p now that I've eliminated the PC that was, I think, the bottleneck. And then I'm not entirely sure the U-Ray could handle 1080p either. I think it was choking, if I remember correctly. I also have a better internet connection now. So, like, several things have changed since I tried that 1080p debacle that was not so fun. Um, Good move in keeping the stream. Yeah, I mean, thank you to those who reached out and told me this, because I did not notice that the stream key was in the stream. So thank you to those who told me, because I appreciate it. Uh, Toro's in the house. Nerd. No blocking, no blocks, no artifacts, no tearing. Good. There are, in fact, a lot of nerds here. So, well, it never went to China. I mean, it reached out to China, but I blocked it in my firewall rules. So, but it does reach out to China, which I find it does do that. It does a DNS query to a Chinese domain, uh, which I find funny for various reasons. One of which I'm not going to get into, but that's one of those things that I would talk about in his members only stream. Yes, Joe is not a fan of U-Ray, as he has pointed out many times. DJ Shade says, I'm set to automatic 480p. Most people are. It doesn't, you're watching a stream. I'm not doing a lot. Like, there's not a lot of visually happening on the screen right now. We're not a sports broadcast. Most of you, with the exception of Jeremy and Joe, are probably not watching on a big screen. I know that Jeremy is, because he said he was going to, and I know that Joe has sent me pictures of him watching on his 4K screen. So, keep watching on your Hikvisions. VLANs. We talked about VLANs? I'm confused. Did I miss something? Um, do you actively seek 1080p and not 4K TVs? No, I don't. I just haven't bought a TV in probably, it was probably pre-COVID. Yeah, I think it was. Um, yeah, I mean, we still have one TV upstairs that Haley had in her apartment, which was for 15 years ago. Um, the other TV is a Sony TV we bought probably pre-COVID, like I just said. And then the other TV over here is an LG TV that my grandpa had, or my grandma and grandpa had, and then we got when they passed away. So no, I don't. I haven't bought a TV in forever. If I bought a TV, I would probably buy a 4K TV, because it's kind of hard not to these days. um, but the one thing I am curious about buying a TV these days is, does it have ATSC3 in? Because that would be the question I would have about buying TVs now. At this point, buy a 4K TV. There's no reason to not buy a 4K TV nowadays. So the question becomes, does it have an ATSC3 tuner in it? So are we just yelling out nerd terms? Because isn't that Kubernetes or whatever? Cannot ascend to the next tier of nerddom until he hits one stream at 1080p. Well, I did try to do a 1080p stream once, so it's not for lack of trying. Yes, lots of things are from 9 years ago. As we determined on my last stream, most of my gear is about 9 years old. Timu, TikTok, everything being watched. Well, I don't have Timu, and I don't have TikTok, and I don't have Twitter, so or X. So most of my things are not being watched that way. What's the CPU usage looking like on the FFmpeg VM? Well, that I can show you. Can I? I should be able to. Yes. Um, it's up there. um, I gave it 8 threads, 8 gigs, and it's hitting there, but it's not maxing out, which is the important part. So I knew my testing that it wasn't maxing out. I didn't realize it was going to hover at like 87%, but and now you can see, if I, as you can see, when I changed video sources, the CPU usage went way down. So you can see exactly when I took the website, because it's not processing any, like there's no changes other than the mouse. So that's kind of funny to watch. I should. I am curious. I'm going to do this off screen for a second. I am curious to see what my router upload is showing me for out of curiosity. If I come back on camera now, so it was showing me a bit rate of about 500K, and now it's shooting up to 6 megs. So yeah, it doesn't do a lot of work when you're not rendering any changes in the video whatsoever. It kind of just sits there and does nothing. Although something just happened, because pfSense just showed an 80 meg spike on the download, and then it stopped. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, let's go back to chat. I was watching the national news. There was a TikTok ad over the air. Well, that's interesting. I've never seen a TikTok ad over the air before. Well, unless it was in Super Bowl. I guess there's probably been at least one. But that's interesting that you saw it over the nightly news. DJ Shade says, I've got a Sony Android 50-inch from 2015. It's slow. Yeah, I would imagine. My Sony is not a smart TV. It is just a regular TV. I'm not really sure I would want to get a smart TV, honestly. I'm afraid of their OS being outdated quickly and not supported. That just bugs me, because I've seen, Roku's that stop getting supported and things like that. And yes, in theory, the life cycle should be longer than the TV, but that doesn't seem to be the case these days, and I don't trust companies to do that. So I'd rather a TV just be a TV, and then have a Roku device or Amazon or whatever that you attach that you can replace every couple of years, as opposed to replace the entire TV. I get TVs are not expensive like they used to be, but if I'm dropping $1,000 on a TV, I don't want to have to replace it in 2 years, because the OS stopped working or whatever it is. So call me old, call me whatever, but that's kind of my thought is like TVs should be TVs. I don't need them to be a smart TV. I need them to be a TV. And then you can change out your smart device that goes into it so that you don't have this problem of a 10-year-old TV that is slow and I'm sure not getting updates anymore. There is no try, it's only stream. Welcome in, Bob. I would say Bob's probably watching on a 4K TV, but I don't know that you do. I am curious what you do watch. I'm curious what you're watching on, Bob, because you sent me some screenshots in the past, and you had like a wraparound monitor. I wonder if that's what you're still watching on. Yes. My head goes 100%. No, I don't know. It is hard to impress all the stuff that's up here. Um, Maybe you can set FFmpeg to use faster to Steve. Well, what profile am I using right now? I am just using the standard H.264 codec for FFmpeg. Is there a faster one? If there is, I'd be interested to try it, but I don't know what that one is. So if you know the answer, by all means, please tell me. Uh, this is funny. I just saw this up, down, up, and now we're gonna go back down. So, um, this is just kind of funny. And then we should see it plummet here in a second. So, unrelated to this, but I guess in a way related, this is kind of one of the things that I was talking about before on the last live stream. I think it was like the last regular live stream about, Unify and Grandstream. And Unify had released that new router that looks crazy good. Of course, when I went to go buy it, it was out of stock. Because I actually did go to buy it. Like I went the next day, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go pull the trigger. I'm gonna go buy it. I logged on and boom, it was like not available. I'm like, you. But the whole point of that idea behind that is I do like the graphs. I do like to see information. I'm not a big person on logs. I'm not a big person on that kind of stuff, but I would like to start getting into that and seeing more things about that kind of stuff because I think it'd be helpful to learn some of the tools out there that, I kind of been ignoring, like logs. And actually, speaking of logs, I had an issue today where a vendor said they looked at the logs, but I don't know that they did because we spent 99 minutes on the phone. Yes, 99 minutes on the phone yesterday playing around with something. And today they called me an hour after they were supposed to. They called me back and said, we looked at the logs, we found the problem. And I was like, you didn't look at the logs first? Because you're tech support. In theory, that should be the first thing you did. Instead of wasting 99 hours on the phone with me. So, yeah, I don't want to say any more than that because, again, I don't want to give details, hence members only. But basically, so I had a vendor who didn't look at logs first, spent 99 minutes on the phone with me, that then told me where the problem lied because they looked at the logs. So, yeah. So basically, my point is to get around, go back to where we were. I do like the idea of having more information in a dashboard that makes a little bit more sense than pfSense does. I still love the idea of pfSense, the software, how you can change everything in it. I love that idea. I've been watching Tony's Grandstream videos, Willie Howe's Grandstream videos. It looks great in terms of the sleek and modern look of the interface of Grandstream, but I hate their firewall rules. Like, not having aliases or groups, or it looks weird, and I don't like the idea of having like 18 firewall rules when in pfSense it's 3. So that kind of stuff bothers me a little bit, but I like the idea of Unify's dashboard and kind of one system. However, I forget who pointed it out. Maybe it was Willie. if your router dies or your Unify whatever cloud controller takes a crap, then your network doesn't really function, or you can't make any changes to it because that's what the dashboard was. And the idea about Grandstream, having stuff like each thing's its own controller, but it can talk to the cloud as well. And to me, that is a little more safe, if you will. So I'm leaning towards Grandstream, but I haven't fully decided yet. Because I do like Unify's dashboard, and so I'm really torn right now. So I know that was kind of a tangent, but because I see chat just scrolling by, so I need to kind of get back to it. I saw a TikTok ad on my gas station pump. Well, that's interesting. If your TV breaks, I actually got rid of the last CRT TV in this house. Probably about 3 months ago, 2 months ago, maybe. Well, no, it's probably about 3 months ago. I still had my original HD TV from back when I was in high school, or I guess early college. It was a tube TV, but it was widescreen and it was HD. And I thought that was the coolest thing for the longest time. I had that TV in my bedroom at my parents' house. When I moved out, we had that TV, or I had that TV in my apartment for years. And I just kept it all along, and I moved it here, and it still worked as a kind of our in their basement for like our tornado coverage TV. Like if there's ever a tornado or severe weather, it was plugged up in the corner behind the camera, and that's what you come downstairs and turn the TV on and watch, live storm coverage. And then finally, when we got the TV from my grandpa's house, we got rid of it. So I had a HD TV, HD CRT TV for a long time. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I liked my TV to just be an input switcher. Yep, no, your TV's definitely not getting updates, not 10 years old. It's true, it does. But we have seen, um, some newer Fire TVs that basically have to have. I mean, we just bought 4 Fire TVs at work for a project, and they were crashing, like literally freezing on inputs. Like after like 24 hours or 48 hours of watching our over-the-air signal, they literally froze, and you couldn't get them to work again. So we had to do a software update. I mean, we did a software update just to see what happens, and now they've been running for like a week straight. But you shouldn't have to have a software update for your TV to function as a TV. So that's why I'm very hesitant to go buy a truly smart TV, because if it's overly smart, then it actually may crash, as we found out in these Fire TVs. I mean, 4 brand new TVs, and they were all crashing. We had never done a software update. We just pulled them out of the box and plugged them in, and they were literally crashing on over-the-air feeds, which is just stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just stupid. That's true. I don't want my TV being a listening device or reporting what I'm watching. I mean, not that it reports what you necessarily watch, but I guess in theory it could. Um, yep, I would love a dumb TV. That's what I would like to have. So Bob is watching on a 65-inch television. Okay, so 3 of you right now are watching on a big screen TV. What is APC, Automated Production Control? Um, so It depends on the context, but I'm assuming you're talking about television and automation, and it can be a form of various things. Um, Usually it's one person or two people. Usually it's two people. I guess in theory you could have be one person that would be controlling all aspects of the show. And usually that means that they spend a lot of time ahead of time. Yeah, it sounded weird. Um, Usually, like, that means you spent 7 hours of the shift running the show, and then someone else spent some time, or maybe the same person, spent time coding the show so that every element of the show is been pre-selected, and therefore the person running the show can basically hit the space bar. So, you hit a space bar and the show open plays. You hit a space bar and the video wipes to the first element with a certain microphone. You hit space bar, now it's video number two with either the same microphone or a different microphone. And I need to cough for a second. So, usually it's basically just kind of hitting the space bar and going next. There's also various levels of that. So, I mean, there's like fully automated kind of shows where it's literally just space bar, space bar, space bar. There's other things that are like semi controlled where it's all pre programmed, but there's basically giant stream decks. They're not actually stream decks, although I guess in some places they might be. But typically the ones I'm thinking of are like custom made boxes that, have predefined shots, audio sources, that kind of stuff. And in a breaking news situation, they can kind of do what I'm doing here, which is basically punch buttons and make things happen without a script. So I think that's what you're asking about. If not, let me know and I'll clarify. Okay, so that's your widescreen that you sent me years ago. The default preset is medium for FFmpeg, not the best for streaming, uses a lot of CPU, but it's good quality. I sent you a link via Signal. Okay, let's go see. So if we go back to here, this looks familiar because this is basically where I saw this is where I saw the constant rate factor. Okay. Choose a preset and tune. The slowest. Provide the most compression range. So mainly you can use tune. Or sorry, optionally you can use tune to change based on your specific input. Oh, you can choose grain and keep the grainy film structure. Zero latency. Latency, that would probably be a good one. So where do the available presets of speed are? So you do preset faster? We could try that if you guys wanted to. We'll come back to that. That could be a fun thing to do. That's interesting. Thank you, Grish, for sending that over. Sorry. That's a good one, Bob. That is very funny. 99 minutes of hell, click a button, swear a bit, 99 minutes of for the phone. Yeah, like I said, I didn't want the bit rate fluctuation, so I lowered it. um, some of you may be away, but I have a picture of Unified Kool-Aid and have started to chug it. Willie just dropped a short covering the Grand Stream. Okay, that's. I mean, I like I said, I'm not saying yay or no to yay or nay to either one right now, um, but I do like the price points of Grand Stream. They tend to seem to be cheaper. That's for sure. We have one CRT in the home. It's a karaoke. I used to have a portable. I wonder if, no, I think we got rid of that. We had a portable, I mean, like truly handheld portable CRT black and white television that we used for like severe weather coverage back in the day. It only did analog. Um, that thing was pretty cool. I mean, just to be able to take a portable TV around and plug in some, like I think it had four D cells or four. I want to say they're D's, but I could be wrong. Um, yeah, I kind of wish some of that stuff still existed. It was kind of cool. Yeah, well, that could be dangerous, depending on what you're watching. Um, I only have dual 27s. Yeah, I've never had a dual monitor setup. Well, I did. I guess I did during COVID when I worked from home. I had dual monitors, but I've never actually owned dual monitors. I mean, I guess this little setup here, which of course you can't really see right now, but laptop here, and then there's a monitor below the computer screen. I guess in a way that's a dual monitor setup, but that's probably the closest I've ever actually been to owning one. I block LG content stuff. Yeah, I could see that. That's what I was talking about. Okay. I had a 49-inch screen from another manufacturer, but as soon as I could get one from Lenovo, I put the old one. Was she happy that you gave her? Was she happy that you gave her a new monitor, or was she upset that you gave her a hand-me-down? Put the crank. Oh my God, Joe, you're funny. Try preset faster. Agree, faster. Wow, things have been working too well. Okay, that's not a phrase I'm used to hearing. I thought they were cool. I kind of wish, I mean, it'd be impractical, at least with the current ATSC 1 standard, but I mean, I kind of hope when if we go to the ATSC 3 standard, which I guess is a thing they're talking about doing, mandating, which don't even get me started on that. Um, if they do go to ATSC 3 across the board, which is COFDM encode or modulation, would allow it to receive a whole lot better, like in bad environments. I really hope they'd make a portable TV again, because I thought that was kind of cool to have. Um, and speaking of modulations and fun, yesterday walked into work and I actually shared a short earlier because that's one of the things that I'm going to get back into hopefully doing is sharing shorts, because when I did share shorts, yeah, and I made more community posts, my watch hours were 20 hours away from crossing that threshold into 3,000, and now I'm down to 2,000. So I guess I got to go play that algorithm game and post content more regularly and do all that stuff. Anyway, when I walked into work, uh, the other day, one of our shows was not working correctly. And I was like, well, what the hell is this about? Like, this show's worked flawlessly. It's a satellite fed show. And it was just breaking up like crazy. So I obviously jumped in and tried to figure out what the hell's wrong with it. And we realized that the spectrum analyzer, the RF, was jumping around. And we were like, what the hell's this all about? Turns out that particular satellite never got the 5G C-band filters. And so finally, in my market, they lit up 5G, and at least in the frequencies that the old C-band satellite system used to use. And because there's no filter on this satellite receiver, or this LMB, which is the little thing at the end of the satellite dish that captures the RF and puts it on a wire, it's called an LMB. Because it was getting hit with all this 5G interference, or what it considers interference because it's designed to receive that band, it was flipping out. And so we lost our show, or part of our show, because of this 5G interference, because this satellite didn't have the right filter on it. So that short that I shared a couple hours ago basically shows you what 5G looks like. It's a lot of different, we call them digital humps, if you will. They're basically, a whole bunch of like hills, if you will. And those are the 5G carriers, the different bands that are different, I guess, carriers in that band. So if you were interested in to know what that was all about, that's what that was about. Basically, that's what 5G looks like on a spectrum analyzer. I actually get that reference. I honestly can't believe my last video on a bench DMV is doing so well. I need to do a full NS on that one. I think that video is in my queue. I don't think I've actually watched it yet, but I have a whole bunch of videos in my queue. It's just hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with how many videos are being released out there on YouTube these days. And hold on. Sorry about that. Some days I can talk for a long time without a problem, and today's not one of those days. I was gonna go. Oh, we were gonna try preset faster. So now to the part that Joe will love when we break things. So let me go into my my stream here, and I don't even know why I'm doing this live, but we're gonna try it live because why not? So if I look at that video, or look at this thing again, you guys want faster, right? I think is what you said. Try preset faster. Okay. So I'm going to do preset faster. And then I'm going to jump over. I can't do this online. I can't do this on air, so I got to do it off camera. Because I'm afraid of leaking my stream key yet again. I'm not sure when you saw it though, because right now there is no string key being oh, I know when. All right, so I'm gonna push the button here in a second, and then we're gonna try faster. So if I disappear, you know what happened. So 3, 2, and we're back. So let's see stats. That's not the right page, but let's go to here. So let's watch CPU. Well, I can't really watch CPU usage because it's not going to show me. So I'm going to watch it. and then we'll come back to it to see what happens. Currently, we're hovering around 50%. And I should probably make sure you guys see me, so let me go back to chat first. Am I back? Everything good? Okay, do it live. Our favorite part of the Nerdtastic live streams. It was when the command was executed. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I realized that. Like that was when I stopped it. It shows a bunch of statistics. Yeah. David says I'm going to be live again this week after my next 6-year anniversary of uploading videos. Congratulations. You come back with way less of a hitch than in the past. That was 1 second recovery time. That was very quick. It should be quick. We see you clearly. I want to play that song. We see clearly now that the rain's gone. And no, I'm not going to sing it for you. All right, so we can see here everybody good. Yeah, no, I get that now. All right, so let's look at the... Well, I think you're going to be impressed by the results because we are definitely using far less CPU. There you can see that we're at 50% CPU instead of the 87-ish we were at before. So definitely lower. But now I am curious to know, because if I go back to that other page, I am curious to know about this part, about zero latency. I'm really curious to try this one. So let me... Well, that would make sense. I guess I'm now curious. If we try zero latency, does it kill things? I am really curious to know. And no, I'm not going to put grain in. Oh, that would be interesting to see. So if I go in here, and again, if I go into my script, tune, and then do zero latency. This will probably break something. But as you guys have pointed out, you would love that. So let's just try zero latency now. So in 3, 2, 1, and we're back. What I guess I should have done is kept counting, because I'm curious if you would have saw it skip. I seem to be above my maximum. Yeah, I'm above my maximum data rate by 200K, which I find interesting. Either way. All right, what do you think? Very clear. That's true. I probably should back that off a little bit. The switch was almost instant. Well, you actually can't change resolution in the middle of a stream, I don't think. Because I feel like somebody tried... I feel like Aaron tried that. somebody tried that. Maybe it was me. I actually don't remember. Um, yeah, I don't remember exactly. So I am curious to know. So I changed the CRF to 20 per Eric's suggestion. Let me just try that real quick. So right now the bit rate is 6164 almost consistently. So 6164 in 3, 2, 1. So we're back. This is now a CRF of 20. The data rate is actually higher. It's now 6227. Although it seems to be leveling out a little bit. So it's back to 61, 64, 84, hovering around there. That didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference, but I guess time will tell on the CPU usage. Let me go. I'm going to go watch that graph on a different window just to kind of see. So far, the CRF is making no difference on the CPU usage. I didn't think it was going to, but it's worth trying. It's hovering around. Wow, we are at 45%, it looks like, on the CPU usage. So let's go to that page. So here you can see and their memory usage went down a lot. So I guess I don't need to give it 8 gigs anymore. I guess I could give it like 4 and be happy. Now this will be interesting. I wonder how far it plummets down on a web page, since nothing's changing. Okay, that's interesting. Looks like it's leveling out. Alrighty. So I guess I'm curious to know. Let's go back there for a second. I guess I'm curious to know. That was the first change. I'm curious. I forget what I changed between. Oh, that was 0 latency. So this was the before I added anything with the latency. This would have been after, I think. I think that's correct. I think you can change resolutions. Wait, I think you can. I think you can if you have your stream key as dynamic and not set to a resolution. Well, the stream key wouldn't have anything to do with the resolution. Like you don't set that in. You don't set that in the YouTube studio. I think Aaron talked about it and tried it. Had to create a whole new session key. That sounds familiar. Like I said, I thought he tried it. Now, that would be something. That would be hilarious. That would be funny. I'm very impressed with it. I knew it was possible when I started messing around with it like a year ago. but I had kind of put it in the back burner for a while, and I'm glad I came back to revisit it. And then when I figured it out on Sunday, that's why I went live with my impromptu stream, because I was like, wait, this is actually working, and it seems to be pretty good. So that's why I went live. So I'm actually very impressed. I've always known, like, 'cause if you look at like OBS, I think a lot of OBS functions on FFmpeg, and I think a lot of people use FFmpeg for their encoders and all their video stuff. So I knew it was very powerful. It's just a question of what parameters do you give it, and how do you control it? Because obviously the GUI interface versus what I'm doing, which is command line, that plays a huge role in the ease of use for people. And having tore apart a couple encoders that I've had access to, they're just computers. They're Linux machines with a Blackmagic card, which is what that is over there. It's a Linux machine, virtual, but it's a Linux machine with a Blackmagic card. I'm not going to name the vendor, but I can tell you we have 8 of them in our station. They're Linux machines with Blackmagic cards running custom software. My guess is FFmpeg with some nice GUI that tells them what stream to decode or what stream to encode. And that's it. There's not much to it. So it's all about the GUI, I'm sure. Audio's fine. We have suffered so much with you, Ray, for years, and this is all it would have taken. Well, I'm so sorry that you suffered for all those years. You probably think you're suffering right now because it's only 7:20. So, was it, who sent me that? Was it Grish? Did you send me that thing about the Raspberry Pi? No, it was Nils. You sent me that, right? Somebody sent me a thing. It was either, I think it was Grish or Nils, sent me a thing about a Raspberry Pi hat, I think it was, basically, or an add-on that could bring HDMI in to a Raspberry Pi. So that really, really intrigues me, because I would love to, in my fly pack, which is right over here off screen, rip out the U-Ray. Actually, here, Joe, you're gonna love this one. Oh, come on. Oops. I can't do it because my fingers are too big. Come on. I can't do it. I was gonna rip the U-Ray right out of the thing, but I can't do it. My fingers are too damn big. They won't fit into the. Anyway, there's a space over here in the fly pack for the U-Ray to sit, and I would love to rip this thing out and put a Raspberry Pi in its spot right next to the Raspberry Pi that's running Companion. Because the Stream Deck that I have here, is actually plugged into a Raspberry Pi running Companion. That's how I'm driving the stream. So I'd love to get one of those things like Raspberry Pi, like a rack mount holder, and have a Raspberry Pi sitting here as the encoder. And if that's at all possible. And I think based on what I was kind of seeing, it is entirely possible. So who knows? Maybe we'll try something else in the future. And I am so far behind in the chat. I'm sorry. How many YouTubers run their own encoding server advantages? Uh, I don't know of any that do. Most of them use hardware, which I was trying to pull out of the rack to show you. Um, okay, hold on. This is a U-Ray box, and this is no longer being used. And these were great. They were cheap, but yeah, obviously they don't work the best, and they're Chinese, and they try to phone home. There are obviously better encoders out there. Magewell comes to mind. Epiphan comes to mind, but they're really expensive. Um, Elemental, if you're like high end and you want like 8 inputs to encode, that's Elemental. Although I believe, and Joe, maybe you know the answer to this, Amazon has some new product that's not Elemental. That's like a U-Ray. It's like one box, like one input per box, but it's like the same platform. It's just one input per box, and they're smaller. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. If you do, let me know. But yeah, I mean, I technically do. I have an Nginx server that I could stream to that would do things. Oh, that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. I could, and this is going to be, I could push to, I could encode my stream, I could push it to Nginx, then I could have Nginx push it to this feed. That'd be weird. I'd be down for more than I'd want to be down for. But then I could also push it, convert it to 4K, and upload it to a different stream. That would probably take, that'd be involved. I don't know if I could do that in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, FFmpeg really is the base for almost everything. Yep, once you get the things sorted out, that's the issue. You have to get all the flags set properly. Yeah, OBS utilizes FFmpeg for a lot of things, and so does vMix. Yes, vMix uses FFmpeg as well. I think for their coding, their encoding. Um, so this is interesting. I was actually looking at this today. Um, so um, I was actually looking at this today. Not these things. Capture card. There you go. So if you're wanting to do HDMI or SDI in like USB, you can do this. Sorry, Thunderbolt. So this allows you to output via Thunderbolt. This would be allow you to capture via Thunderbolt. So if you had a Thunderbolt 3 laptop or desktop, you could capture video. Not very expensive. It's pretty cheap. Then there's other ways to do that too. If you're not wanting to build a whole PC or use a whole PC. But I was looking at the PCI capture cards earlier. So it's kind of expensive still. Basically, I was looking at this one right here. So this is SDI and 2110 IP. And so it allows you to capture or playback two things at once. And you can capture through SDI or 2110 or playback. So I was looking at this one because I really want to, like, I was playing around with the AES-67 audio. I kind of want to play around with the video with 2110 video as well. Not that I have a network that can support it necessarily, but I mean, I do have 10 gig switches, or I have a 10 gig switch. So in theory, it would handle it. So if I had two of these cards, I could, at least play around with the idea of sending video across that. But I was looking at this, like I said today. This is their just IP only. That's $345. But I mean, for $50 more, you get SDI inputs. You get SDI connectors. Like, buy this one. And I really was. I literally got a quote on this thing today. Because I know somebody who can get a better price than this. So I called them up and said, hey, tell me. And so, yeah. Was really looking at this earlier today. So it's interesting that we're having this conversation tonight. I didn't expect to talk about this card today, but here you can see that it supports 1080p 60, which, by the way, is the broadcast format because nobody does 1080p 30. 30 is not a thing in the broadcast world. I know YouTubers love 1080p 30, but in the broadcast world, we do 1080p 60. So, yeah, just throwing that out there. This is one I was looking at earlier. All right, so bye you Ray. Clear Life Media, welcome in. You are still here. Yeah, I don't start streaming until 9 p.m. You're suffering a lot less now. Oh, how much hardware does it take to run your TV station decoding system? Decoding system. You mean encoding system? I guess I'm seeking clarification on what you're referring to, because we send video around lots of different ways, and we encode via a very special box that runs VMware. Ironically enough, I don't know what cards they're using, but when we send video between stations, or we receive several of our subchannels, they're boxes that are one RU servers running mini ATX. Yeah. They're like mini ITX motherboards. They're really small. And then they have literally one Blackmagic capture card. And I think it's the quad. I think it's the 4 selectable BNCs. And so that's what they use. So this is based off of what people are currently using, which is a Blackmagic card and a virtual machine. We don't have the hardware costs because we don't pay for it. So I don't know. But I mean, it's literally a 1RU server chassis, a motherboard, and a capture card like I just showed you. I mean, probably a little bit more expensive card because it's probably the 4 input version, which is probably, I think, $495. So like $500 for the capture card, motherboard, CPU, RAM, all that stuff. I had something even cooler happen. Well, yes, please do share. Okay, so it was no. I thought it was. You both messaged me like at the same time, and I wasn't sure who was saying what. So yeah, okay, so it was Nils. Yeah, it was the HDMI to CSI adapter, which I'd never heard of before. But it's apparently there's one for the HDMI, or there's one. This thing. um, like it's just kind of crazy. So you can bring an HDMI and then you plug it into a Raspberry Pi, and now you have HDMI input. Like that's crazy. So I mean, like, this is really cool. I really like the idea of doing this. Now, the thing I don't know, and I'm assuming that is that you can somehow tie this in with FFmpeg like you can a Black Magic. I guess that'd be the next question is can you tie this in? Are there drivers that'll work with FFmpeg to make this even a possibility? Like, and then I guess what kind of case do you get to support it? I mean, at $31, I am not opposed at all for doing this to getting one of those, and a Raspberry Pi, which I need to get anyway because I hate to do this, but I need to get like 4 of them because I want to have my Raspberry Pi for companion. I want to get a Raspberry Pi working again for Flight Radar 24 because I bought all the stuff and then I got rid of it. I mean, I reused the Raspberry Pi for companion, but I still have the antenna outside. So like, I want to get Flight Radar 24 working again. I'm tempted to do this encoding thing with the Raspberry Pi 4. And then my Christmas light display, which I really need to get on because it's already freaking February and I haven't done anything with it other than watch a lot of YouTube videos about it. The Christmas light show that I want to build, uses FPP or Falcon Pro Player. I think it's what it stands for. It runs on a Raspberry Pi. So I, in theory, need to have like 4 Raspberry Pis to do everything I want to do right now. Wow. That is impressive. That is very cool. Good. That's awesome. Good for you. Um, will that be streamed? I would love to watch that. It probably will. I'll have to watch it. What did you send me, Bob? Um, what is this? That is not what I wanted to do. I guess the question is do we trust Bob? Because we're gonna do this live. Oh, I guess I did load it. Never mind. 4 times apparently. Yeah. So this is what we were showing. Like I said, the question I have is, what does it use for drivers, or does it have drivers that KVM OS is. I mean. Oh, there's a video. Probably get blasted for watching. Geek Worm? Okay. 4 years ago. Holy cow. Do we know what software they run? Because I guess that's the question I'd have is what kind of software do they actually run? I clicked on that way too many times. um, yes, that is amazing. I will definitely I'll have to watch that stream. I'm not going to NAB. I've been to NAB when I was a student in college. I went to NAB once. I have mixed feelings on NAB. If you want to know them, tell me down below. Send the U-Ray back to China. I don't want to pay for shipping. Sorry. Lots of things are made in China. That is for sure. Let's do a funeral for the U-Ray. I'm not even sure what I would do with how I would do that, but that'd be interesting. The ground's kind of frozen outside. Well, I guess it's not today, but I can't really bury it. The Pi KVM would have an encoder board. Well, that's true. Pi KVM. Do it yourself. Yeah, you could do a dongle or a capture card like that. That would also could work. That would probably be easier than buying the board. Although I might trust the board more. I'm not sure, you know. Yeah, I was gonna say this would be this would have some issues, I'm sure, with the dongle. The Raspberry Pi 5 is not supported. Doesn't have GPU encoders. Well, that's interesting. Oh, and I want a Raspberry Pi. I want a Raspberry Pi CM4 to do PTP clock. So now I need 5 Raspberry Pis. This is quickly becoming expensive. Anyway, no. Yeah. LiveView makes a good product. We had LiveView for years. They make a good product. I'm actually gonna get a LiveView presentation next week for the local SBE chapter, Society of Broadcast Engineers. We're having a LiveView presentation next week. I'll talk to the sales rep. He actually doesn't live very far from here. It's kind of funny. I use a $5 USB capture card, but Jay has got to blow. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use USB. DJ Shades. I don't do Proxmox. I do XEPNG. Um, I have two Power Edge servers in my server room over here. And I like XCPNG because, well, I think at one point they were the only ones who could do live migration for free. Proxmox has that now, I believe, but I think XCPNG was first. But I like the built-in backup tool and like not having to run a separate server. I know Proxmox now has the Proxmox backup tool, but XCP builds it in essentially. And so between those two, what was exclusive and the fact that it's built in, I like that now. And they do PCI pass through, which is how this stream is coming to you, because I have a Blackmagic capture card in one of the servers, actually two of the servers. So I have two cards. One is creating the chat message. So this is OBS with a Blackmagic card that's passed through as a virtual machine, and then the encoding is being done on a separate VM with a separate capture card being passed through to it. So actually, this is one of the things that I want to make a video on, because this would be definitely unique. I don't know anybody else who's doing this, but you know, instead of having dedicated machines for each functionality, I'm putting my entire home lab in two PCs or two servers. They're identical, thank God, because that makes things a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing PCI pass through right now, and doing coding, doing graphics. You know, all this is, you know, minus the hardware cost. It's all free. Bob says, on a side note, I got a pair of Jet KVMs and I'm thoroughly impressed. I want to buy two more. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about that. I know Jeremy has one, at least one. So yeah, apparently not as much as I would have thought. If we go back to, I'm curious to go back to here, and I've been on this for a little bit. You can see when I took the web page, when I didn't take the web page, no web page. And this is using 8 threads, 8 gigs of RAM, which I obviously don't need the RAM anymore. I'm down to 1.86. That's pretty, that is pretty cool. I like that. I, in theory, could go back to 4 here. not that I want to, but in theory, probably could. So. Nils says, get an Orange Pi 5 Plus. It's got HDMI, GPI. Orange Pi 5 Plus. I'm not sure I'm aware of what an Orange Pi 5 Plus is. Orange Pi 5. That's the wrong button. This has an input? Oh, wait, you said plus. Orange Pi 5 Plus. Okay, so it runs all the standard stuff. Supports all those. Where's the specs overview? Supports 8K. 2.5 dual NICs. Wow. That's interesting. I have not heard of this thing before. Oh, wow. Okay. HDMI in and 2 HDMI outs. And it has an M.2 slot on it. Oh, for Wi-Fi. Huh. Well, that is definitely something. Supports NVMe SSD on the back. Wow. Okay. 8K video decoding. So Joe will be happy. How have I never heard of this before? Well, I was gonna say, this definitely sounds like the type of one you would want for an encoder. That's for sure. Huh. Well, thanks for sharing that. I don't know. I'd never seen that one before. We talked about Bella Box the stream before. Um, hold on. Sorry about that. I remember that. Did everyone hit the like button? That's a good question. Right now, I have 9 viewers and 12 likes. Now it says my bitrate is too high. YouTube is complaining that my bitrate is too high. No, it says it's lower than recommended. 5.5 is lower than the recommended? Okay, YouTube's drunk because it literally says 5,000 is lower than the recommended bit rate of 2,500. So it literally is twice as fast, yet it's saying it's too low. Okay, YouTube, you are drunk. Does LiveView support Ethernet? Yes, yes. LiveView, they all support hardwired connections. I believe, do not quote me on this, but I believe LiveView has come a long way since when it first started, because it used to be that when LiveView would get congestion, it would drop the back channel for IFB for the station to talk to the field. Obviously, that creates a lot of issues. So they reworked the code so that it doesn't do that anymore. It drops the video instead of the audio. And then it was at one point true that it would prioritize Ethernet over the cellular, meaning if you plugged an Ethernet cable in, it would try to use that only instead of the cellular, thinking that was the best connection. Well, obviously, they've worked on their algorithm now, and so now any of the manufacturers, LiveView, Dejero, TVU, they all, prioritize all of them, or they prioritize it based on what you tell them to. So, like, if you say prefer this, you can, but now they just use any and all resources available. But yes, they do support Ethernet. They got rid of hardware accelerated encoding in the Pi 5 to overcome the lack of 4K support. CC Joe. Yeah, and they support Wi-Fi too. I forgot about that. I will tell you, as somebody who has tried the Elgato products for capture card, I wasn't particularly impressed. We have some issues with them. Now, mind you, they are USB. So as I think it was Nils said earlier, yeah, I've tried USB capture before. Not a big fan. I could see why. That is pretty impressive. I'll have to dig more into that. If you max out the Orange Pi, you have to have a 27 watt USB. 27 watts. That's a lot. Yeah, the specs on that were impressive. Yeah, I don't understand why it was telling me that it was, yeah. Um and is it is it Aaron? Yeah, I think it's Aaron who points out every once in a while that YouTube doesn't tell you what encoder or what path you're on, whether you're on the primary or secondary. And that's pretty stupid. I think YouTube should fix that and allow you to switch manually. Because if you're doing a professional broadcast and you have two feeds going to the same place, you kind of want to be able to control which one you're using. And also, if one were to get hijacked for some reason, like you could then go take your stream back. Like I feel like there should be manual intervention options, if you will. And the fact that they don't support that is just kind of mind blowing. I don't recall them having one, but that doesn't mean that they didn't. I don't recall them having one. So yes, apparently they did because David said he had a PCI. Oh, that's Express. Yeah, I don't know. The Orange Bose base. They have an Orange Pi 5 Ultra. Did we find out what the prices were? Did I miss the price on this thing? I'm suddenly remembering I don't think I actually found the price. $151. Holy crap. So what's the difference? Oh, plus an well, that's just. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look into this one. Holy crap. Holy crap. Put that on my add to cart and save for later. I'm gonna have to look at that one. Holy crap. Seriously? You want me to freaking log in? Okay. Anyway. Oh, wrong button. It's a good price. Got the 4 for 110. Lost demand with their US. Yeah, I said, we have a Elgato USB device, and it's given us problems. We had a hell of a time getting it to work with the PC when we first set it up. Like, it works now, but for some reason it did not want to like accept the input we were giving it. It was weird. Um, so was just not impressed by that. So yeah, it's gonna have to compress it. I shouldn't say have to. That's a strong word. Um, what is the USB specs? I don't remember off the top of my head. USB 3 speed. Um, so USB 3 can do 10 gigs, so it doesn't have to be compressed because it can handle the video it's being thrown at, even at 5 gig, which is what it says. USB 3.0 has a theoretical transmission speed of 5 gigs, which is plenty fast for uncompressed video, unless you're doing 4K. Um, but most things are going to have problems with 4K video. Wait, that's gigabits per second. No, you're right. Yeah, I'm right. So it does 4.8 gigabits per second, which is going to be able to handle 1080p or less. It wouldn't be able to handle 4K very easily. Um, well, I don't think it can handle 4K uncompressed. Because 4K uncompressed video is 6 gig, right? My brain is having a hard time right now. So 4K at 60 frames per second is 11.9 gigabits. So yeah, 24. Nothing would handle 4K uncompressed without having to do some serious work. But 4K uncompressed also wouldn't go across 10 gig Ethernet. So you should do that. Yep, I would like to see that. I got used to the fact that I have to unplug my Elgato 3 times before it starts to work. Yeah, like I said, we were having problems with ours, and it drove us nuts until we got it to work, and now we can reboot the PC all the time, but we don't move anything, like we don't change anything. So I can only imagine if we were actually swapping pieces and parts around. Was this to me? Because I had to go a little bit longer than I thought it would. Um, you left and came back. No wonder it was quiet. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to wrap this up, though. I just now realized what time it was. Yes, there is. So that is a thing. I don't remember all the drama about it. I remember there being drama because it will not fit, and so they compress it, which obviously adds delay and, in theory, quality. But I mean, if you compress it down to 10 gig, you're not losing that much stuff. I mean, seriously, it's 4K. So, but again, I've also said many times on this channels that the bit rate is more important than the resolution. And I know most of you probably don't want to hear that, but a very well A 720p stream like this at a very high bit rate will look pretty damn good. A 4K stream at a low bit rate will look like crap. So you have to have the bit rate to support the resolution that you're doing, and often people starve streams trying to get them to work. I.e., if you're going to stream 4K at your house, what are you actually watching on? Is it, check the bit rate, because I'd be interested to know what if you're watching a 4K stream, what your bit rate is. Because uncompressed, it's 11 gigs or 12 gigs, 11.9. So if it's uncompressed as 12 gig and you're creaming it down to this, that's a lot of compression. If you're taking a 1080p stream that's 6 or 3 gigs and you're shrinking it down to this, a lot less compression, it'll probably look better, honestly, because you're compressing it less. These are just my thoughts. These are not scientific facts, but to me, it seems more logical to take a 1080p signal and, break it down to 10% versus a 4K signal and break it down to 5%. You're killing your signal. But anyway, that's just a rant. So, there was somebody who was going to ask a question about replay. I don't see them here, so I guess I'm not going to talk about it. It was purely USB. It was just USB. Yeah, part of me thinks it was the compression because it adds a delay, and if you're trying to do iMag in the same room, that kills your ability to do iMag. So, because that one guy, I forget his name, he has the crazy setups now, like production, I forget, I don't remember. I think he talked about it on his stream using the 2110 converters from Blackmagic. I could be wrong. But yeah, so anyway, went way longer than I thought I was going to go tonight with no plan. So hopefully you all enjoy this stream and learn something. I know I did. And so you all take care and have a good night.